Hey guys, we are live. We are live. I know I was supposed to go live yesterday, but if y'all saw what my homeschool room looked like, you would be like, Nikki, you need to prioritize. So anyway, so if you see the title, it is Shakespeare for Kids and how I'm going to use Shakespeare going forward. So I'm just going to jump right into this because I got to get ready to make dinner for the kids because my husband had surgery on his shoulder and he's taking a nap right now. So I hope let me know if, oh Lord, let me know if my audio is okay. I have a different little mic on. Oh, y'all, what's going on? Okay, stay. So anyway, if you're new to my channel, if we have not met, my name is Nikki, and this is my channel, and I talk about all things homeschool, and I try to give you real, honest, practical advice to help you on your homeschool journey. So today I'm flipping it because this is something new for me, relatively new, and I would like to get input from you guys who actually teach Shakespeare to your children. So I'm just going to jump right into it. Now, if you watch one of my videos from last week, my top 6 teacher-inspired movies, I don't want to give it away, but my number one, I'm going to have to give it away. My number one pick was Marva Collins, and she was a Chicago educator from the late 70s and the 80s, and she gained all this national recognition because her students, they were just scoring phenomenally high on their tests, but they were reading Shakespeare and Chaucer and all of these great literary works, and they were quoting passages. She was doing memory work, and I was very impressed with that. And I was also impressed with the cross-curricular teaching that she used when she was teaching Shakespeare, which is why I bought The Merchant of Venice. But I ain't gonna use that right now because now I have some information. So I was talking to my girlfriend, one of my besties, because she's been teaching her children Shakespeare for a number of years. And she recommended that to get started, I think she said start with comedies. And no, she said start with Romeo and Juliet. But, sorry, Nye. I was reading this book, How to Teach Your Children Shakespeare by Ken Ludwig. And he says start with comedies. And he starts with A Midsummer's Night Dream and Twelfth Night. And if you read his book, guys, I'm only on chapter 2. He's a fanatic about it. He grew up in it and he's taught his children this. And what his philosophy is to memorize Shakespeare and learn every word that's in there. But you do it a word at a time. So he really focuses on just dissecting it and just being truly immersed in it. And I actually kind of like this technique because he pulls back so you can look at the metaphors, the characters, the plot, the themes, and the poetry, because a lot of Shakespeare's work is poetry. So okay, guys, I really had no direction. I just wanted to hop on because I was so excited. So what I did back in the day, because I did read my children Shakespeare, but they were just read alouds. So for my children, hey, this tiny schoolhouse, I so needed this video. I love to get started with Shakespeare. Being totally immersed makes perfect sense. You may have already said this. How old are your kids? Oh, okay. So my kids are 14, about to be 12, and about to be 10, and they're all boys. And a good story is a good story. That's why I've always been intrigued with Shakespeare, because when I was in college and when I lived, in Europe, a lot of people are very well read, and they would like say quotes, or they would make a comment about a situation, and it would be a reference to Shakespeare, and I would be out the loop, and someone would tell me what why it was funny or something like that. So I kind of never liked not being in the loop. Some things I would know, like I know Hamlet, but the other stuff I really didn't know. So I just want to be in the loop. But what I did when my babies were really small, I started with Edith Nesbit. And for those of you who are classical homeschoolers or you're really into Shakespeare, you are familiar with Edith Nesbit. She's like from the 1800s or early 1900s. Now, these books, they're two different ones. This one is for the young kids. And this is like for your preteen and up because it has some of the original wording from Shakespeare. So if your kids are younger, let's say fifth and below, 5th grade and below, I would start with this book. Now this book, each story, I think she has like 20 stories in here, close to 20 stories, but each story is like 7-8 pages long. They're not long at all. It's to give you the point of the story and to introduce the major characters. So you have talking points. You have some kind of frame of reference. You see, I'm already on the next story. I mean, the next play. They're really, really short. So these could be great bedtime readings, or if you want to do audiobooks. On YouTube, a lot of her audiobooks are on here for free, so you can listen for free. And I think a lot of well-trained actors are reading stories. So this is just a quick way to introduce your child and you to the stories. Now, for your older children, you can go with this one. And this one, this one is Stories from Shakespeare. That's for your, like, let's say 11 years down to birth. And then this one, Shakespeare Stories for Young Readers, it's like preteen and up, because you're going to start getting that old language, that old English language. But she has, she doesn't have a lot of stories because the passages are longer. So see, she doesn't have that many, but she does have a mix of comedies and tragedies. And so you can just see what it looks like. You see, you don't see a lot of the quotations and stuff like that, but it's not that intimidating. It's a nice bridge. Now, once you, and then this one, now I haven't read these yet. I just got these yesterday. Now these are 20 Shakespeare stories. And this is what it looks like on the back, so you can see all the stories. Now, my girlfriend was raving about these. Even her kids still read these books now, and they're like 8th grade, going into 8th grade, and going into 5th grade. But I like how they're very colorful, and they're very thin. I mean, you can read these like during lunchtime, on the way, if you're in the car, if you're going somewhere. Look at the big print and the pictures or the drawings. Totally manageable. Look at that. So now your children can have exposure to a big bulk of Shakespeare's works. And so like when they get older, maybe in high school or in college, if they have to take an English lit class or something like that, they're not intimidated by this. Because believe me, if they take any kind of writing or literature, they're going to come into contact with something like this. And I think by immersing your children or introducing your children to this, their essay writing is going to get better, because you're being exposed to great, I mean, come on, this is like some of the greatest writing in the world. You're exposed to that. Now, I used to live in New York City, and I went to Shakespeare in the Park, and actually I did some theater acting, like Circle in the Square and David Mamet's, what was that workshop school I used to go to? I don't even remember. But so I had high expectations. Ask me if I read this. I had high expectations. I guess I bought this book to only open it up like 20 years later. I'm showing my age. But so if you have older kids who already have exposure to Shakespeare, you know, you might want to get that complete works for them and let them have a go. But okay, so what? Oh, and then if your kids do have exposure to Shakespeare, hold on. The one you recommended for younger kiddos is free for Kindle right now on Amazon. Ooh, breaking news. Which one? Is this one on Kindle right now on Amazon? I think one of our subscribers is saying that this is on Amazon Kindle version for free. If so, go get it. Go get it right now. It's like 20 stories. I think it's about 20, a little bit less, but it's a lot. So go get that. Breaking news. Now, this one, my girlfriend recommended, No Fear Shakespeare. This is what I need. Now, this one, it does a side-by-side comparison. So, I wonder if Marva Collins would approve of this book, because she just gave her kids the real deal stuff. Okay, so it's side-by-side. I just got this a couple of days ago. So on one side, you have the original work, and then the other side is the translation. And when I say translation, like they literally translate every word. For example, because I was laughing. They like, okay, here's one from The Merchant of Venice. All right, so I'm just going to show you. All right, so this is the bard talking, and then this is us everyday people that don't have any intelligence. Let me back up. So y'all see that? Oh, get it focused. All right, let me find something that doesn't have a lot of text. Okay. So what do y'all think? So what I'm going to do is, okay. So maybe you can see that. Okay. So you'll read the real deal, and then you're like, okay, what does this mean? And then you'll go to the translation, and they translate every line. Every line. So you know what's going on. And that's half the battle. Knowing what's going on in the story. So you can stay connected to the story. So what I am proposing to do, one, I'm going to have to probably do a block schedule because I already have enough stuff that I'm teaching my kids, and I wasn't expecting to do this. I was going to do poetry, but this is just going to kick it up a notch. So I'll probably do a block schedule, and I'll have a video on that, like, you know, how to do a block schedule. And then what I'll do, oh, I don't have the book, but the Who Was series, they have one for Shakespeare. So I ordered that, which I don't know why I didn't have it, to give my kids an introduction into Shakespeare. So we'll start with the Who Was series, and then there are a number of YouTube videos. I mean, there's so much stuff out there on him where they can just kind of watch some of the stories, like the animations, just something really light. And then we'll dive into the first story, which will be A Midsummer's Night Dream. And then when we're done reading that, we'll watch the play. And I'm sure there's probably a movie. But right now I'm compiling, I'm curating all the resources to put together. So I'm thinking that's what I will do. So we'll do it twice a week. And so I'm thinking, say if I do it Tuesday, Thursday. Let me see. Let me get my thoughts straight. Tuesday, we do our readings and our memory work. And then Thursday, we watch some kind of video, or we just listen to it again, listen to it audio, and then maybe watch a play on it, like a couple of different versions of the plays. Oh, PBS. PBS, if you go to Great Performances, they have a lot of these plays, and it's free online on their website. So go check those out. I saw one, Much Ado About Nothing. It was an all-black cast. I was like, oh, yeah, we got to see it. We have to represent out here. But they had so many plays out there on PBS. Go to pbs.org and then type in Great Performances. And they have so much of Shakespeare stuff on there. And the production quality looks really, really good. Yeah, I love PBS. So what I'll do, since I know that's going to be a better, higher quality production, that will be how I end that play. And then we'll go on to the next one. So in the meantime, I'll do little animated ones that I saw on YouTube that I thought were cool. They were kind of making fun of Shakespeare and stuff like that. But it was still teaching, but it was like not taking itself seriously. So I think I'll do that. And then, I don't know, I might have to sit down and Google what other parents, how they approach Shakespeare. But in terms of the memory work, Ken, from this book here, how he recommends. So this book, if you follow this book, he will have you teach your child 25 passages from 25 works. And I think it's from 25 works. No, 25 passages from, I think, 15 works. And he takes you through it step by step. So for the Midsummer's Night Dream, the first 6 chapters are just covering how to do that. Like he takes you through everything, like the characters, the plot, the imagery, and then the quotes. And then he has a system for how to write the notes down. Write the quotations down so you don't get overwhelmed with all of the language. So that alone is worth the book. So I'm definitely going to try that out. Now, I'm not going to introduce this to my kids until probably October because I got a lot going on and I still have to kind of put this all together so it makes sense. So my kids ain't looking at me like, "Mom, you know what you're doing?" I don't want that. So I got to get my stuff together, talk to a couple of other parents, and then I'll probably come back and let you know how I'm going to flush it out. But if you guys have any ideas, I think PBS dissected several of his plays. I forget the show. Ooh, that would be good. See, that's why I'm not going to start this until probably October, because that's the kind of information that I need to sit down and just synthesize all the information, because he has so much information. But in the meantime, if you don't really want to teach it to your kids, or if you're just strapped for your time, just start with these, the babies, the older kids, or if your kids have had exposure, this one, or maybe just this for you. Now, No Fear Shakespeare, they have, I think, all of the books. I saw them, and then they're like $6, so not that expensive. You can probably get them from the library. These are like $4. I think this was $3.99. So not going to break the bank, but at least you can get started with reading the stories, or have your child sit with the book and then play it on YouTube, the audio, because the actors are reading from the book, and then let your child just get immersed with someone who can handle the language, and they're animated, and they're interesting to listen to. If you read like this, your child probably ain't gonna want to listen to you. So have someone else read to your child. But that's the way to just get into it, and then take it from there. So what do y'all think? Have you guys taught Shakespeare to your kids? I'm listening. Let me see. There was something else I wanted to mention. Hold on. I wrote a note. Oh, my note was to remember who was Shakespeare. Okay, that note's useless. All right, so there are no more questions. Wait, Jamila, I watched the one on Merchant of Venice. Was that on PBS? Shakespeare Uncovered is the show. Okay, so Intel. Shakespeare Uncovered is the show where they break down all those Shakespeare plays, right? So we need to go there first, because I, as an educator, I need to know the big picture, what I'm teaching. So as we're reading, I can point things out. Okay, yes. So Jamila lets us know, thank you for the intel, girl, that how they deconstruct Shakespeare's plays is on PBS, and it's called Shakespeare Uncovered. Okay. Thank you very much for that. So I'm going to try that out. We'll see how it goes. But you know me, I'm honest. I'll let you know if this was too much, or if it was too much for me, or if we just went totally left, or if we just did something totally different. But I do want to get that in. I'm really excited. I'm telling you, that Marva Collins, she really affected me. I was like Amazon, just buying, like, okay, she was teaching this. Let me get this. Let me add this into our homeschool. But I don't just take anything I just see and incorporate it into our homeschool willy-nilly. It's intentional. And because Shakespeare is something I've always wanted to do with my children, I just didn't really know how to do it successfully. Now I feel this is my little in through the door. So yeah, okay. Yes, thank you, Jamila. So if there are no more questions, or if you have questions about anything else, let me know before I get out of here. I think what I'm going to do, I am going to be live tomorrow, because I want to talk about just a couple of things as we're getting ready to go back to school. And I really want to talk about scheduling. And, we have a mix of people here, those who are veteran homeschoolers, those who are forced homeschoolers, and those who are new homeschoolers, and even veteran homeschoolers. That scheduling looks really, really good on paper until you put it into action the first week, the first day, and then crumbles, and you don't have a backup for what you're going to do. And then it's just a downward spiral. So I kind of want to do some real talk and some pep talk to kind of get us through that, and to start building up our arsenal of weapons. So when that self-doubt is coming in, or that exasperation, or just being upset, all of that, when that comes in, we have something to kind of reground us and, get us back on course. So I just want to have some hey, you know what, grab something to drink, something to eat. Let's just talk, and let's just talk about how we're feeling getting ready to start school. Like we start homeschool next week. And what I do, we didn't really do jack this summer. Like my oldest son did. But the other two, just do Spanish, Duolingo. I didn't ask much. My oldest one, he did a lot, and I felt bad because he had a really heavy load. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to ease my kids into homeschool. So we're not going to tackle all our subjects at once. I just slowly just trickle them in a little at a time, like 2 at a time. We do field trips, we get out, and we just do a lot of just hanging out and talking and cooking, and I'm just listening to them talk and their conversations and their thinking, and so it's really, really laid back. So next thing you know, it's like, oh, full homeschool mode, and they don't even know because it sneaks up on them. So we'll talk about that. So if you guys don't have any more questions, I'm gonna get out of here and go make some dinner. What am I making? My husband loves some stuff out. I don't eat meat. My kids do. And I think my husband made some fish, some salmon. And I don't want to handle the fish. I'll figure that out. All right, guys. So I'm out of here. This is Nikki with That Homeschool Life. Please, if you found some value in this, hit that like button. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you know when I put these videos out because, excuse me, it's not Rona. Because starting in September, I'm going to be putting out a lot of practical worksheets for you guys to use for different grade levels. And but I'm only going to do it when I go live or when I put out the video. So if you don't know, if you don't have the notification bell on, then you're going to miss it and then you're not going to be able to get it. So make sure you hit that notification bell because I'm only going to have it available for about 24 hours once the video is uploaded or once I go live. And I have a lot of cool stuff. So I've been revamping stuff that I created, from a while ago. And I'm like, I'm putting a new spin on it. And then just some things that I see, what, I think this could really be helpful to a lot of people. So be on the watch out for that. Make sure you hit that notification bell. So I'm going to get out of here. If you don't have any more questions, I think I showed you everything. I'm excited about these books though. So, okay, look, this was about $30-something, but you have 20 books. And, the books look pretty good, guys. But I think I saw one that was 10 books. I don't think they sell these individually, but you could probably find these at the library if your library's not tripping and you're able to get some stuff. So if you were to get any of these books, I would start with this one just because you have so many stories and it covers a little bit more than like this one would. And even for the older kids who are into this one, my girlfriend's kids who are older, they still look through this. So I would get that. All right, guys, I'm out of here. I will see you tomorrow. I don't know what time I'm going live. I'm on the West Coast. It's 6 o'clock here. I know it's later for some of you guys. I'm trying to find that sweet spot. So we'll see. But I'm out of here. Love you guys. Take care. Stay safe. And I'll see you tomorrow.